Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 5 of What If Naruto Was the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. So with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. It's not like there's a like goal or anything, but hey, it'd be nice if you guys did it anyway. And make sure to leave a comment down below for any future What If ideas you'd like me to do, and that being said, let's just jump right into the What If itself, where we left off. So one thing I should mention quickly before getting into the video that for some reason I didn't mention in part 4, because I guess I just forgot to, is that Sasuke did still end up going with Orochimaru and leaving the village, becoming a rogue ninja, and all of that. That still happened to canon. So when Naruto goes at the pretty much like almost start of Shippuden, and goes and finds not Gaara, because that's not how this What If is even going to go, because like, why would that happen? It just never would, because Gaara is not the one-tails Jinchuriki. So that just means that when Naruto is leaving the village, it's because he gets evidence of somewhere of Sasuke's location, and now that Naruto is much stronger, he is going to go and look for him. He is placed on a team with Sakura and Kakashi, and they head off in order to try and find Sasuke. Now, this obviously means that they had the information on where at least one of Orochimaru's hideouts is, and we're just going to say, I guess out of the sake of, like, convenience, that it just happens to be the same one that, like, Sasori's information would have led him to, and they happen to find out about this pretty much place where Sasuke is going to be hiding out, because that's the information that they ended up getting. So, with this actually happening, this means that when they arrive at the hideout, it is the middle of the night and they are sneaking in. Similar to what happened in the original, except they don't really have like Sai there to try and do whatever he was doing to Sasuke. I don't really know what Sai's goal was. Like Sai was a little bit strange in this arc. He was still deciding a few things, I think, with his life, you know? So when they do arrive and they find where Sasuke's location is, he immediately wakes up just like he does in the original. And the presence he senses behind him reminds him of, you know, Naruto, obviously. And for some reason, he feels like something just higher than him is just glaring at him right now, but he doesn't know why. And he can almost, like, sense, like, he can't even see it. His eyes are closed at this point. But he almost senses this, like, purple glare coming from behind him, and he doesn't really know why that is at this point. He opens his eyes, quickly gets up, drawing his sword and pointing it towards the door. And there he sees Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi all standing before him in his bedroom. And he's like, oh shit. He looks at Naruto at this point, and the last time he saw Naruto, he was around, like, Tsunade's level, which Sasuke, I guess you could say, is, like, relative to at this point, but he probably wouldn't even be able to beat most of the Sannin in a fight at the moment, so he doesn't really stand a chance here, and he would more than likely realize this in this situation, and realize that he has to find where Orochimaru is, or just, like, make some kind of explosion to get Orochimaru to come here immediately so he can have backup in this fight, because he just knows he's going to need it. So, making a massive explosion with some lightning jutsu, he just completely blows up his room, just like he does in the original, and he jumps up to where, like, way above everybody else, and Orochimaru arrives there shortly after, and he tells Orochimaru that Naruto has the Rinnegan at the moment, and he is going to pretty much, like, shit on us if we don't do something here. Like, think about, like, remember how much stronger I got over these, like, couple years? Think about the fact that Naruto is the Jinchuriki of all of the tailed beasts, along with the fact that he has a dojutsu that is superior to mine. That is how I see this fight going, and it is not in a good way. Pretty much is what Sasuke is telling Orochimaru at this point. Now, Sasuke's, I guess, view of Naruto is very different here. He doesn't even see Naruto as a rival. He just sees Naruto as somebody who is blatantly above him, and somebody who he, at least now, sees no way of surpassing in any way, shape, or form. He hasn't even seen Naruto fight yet, but just seeing the presence that Naruto has makes him think that he stands no chance against him, and he doesn't understand how Naruto has done that in any way. He just doesn't know. But what he does know is that he is most likely going to have to at least try to fight here, so he charges at Naruto at this point with his 3-Tomo Sharingan already activated, with his sword going for a clean, killing blow, head chop off at this moment. Now, Naruto easily dodges out of the way of the sword, and actually grabs it by the handle, spinning it out of Sasuke's hand, hitting him with the blunt of it over the top of the head, sending him flying into a nearby wall. Sasuke stands up out of the rubble, a little bit of blood coming out of the temple of his head, and he looks at Naruto now, his vision already getting a little bit blurry from the head damage that he had just taken. He realizes that, he doesn't stand a chance here, and they have to, get the fuck out of there before Naruto captures them. And Orochimaru sees Naruto at this point, and he has the just absolutely wonderful idea of going into Naruto and trying to take over his body because of how strong Naruto is. So he jumps down now and is about to use his jutsu on Naruto. However, just like Itachi, he is already caught under Naruto's genjutsu. As Orochimaru pretty much is about to use the jutsu, his head just gets chopped off as it falls down to the ground, and Orochimaru has absolutely no idea what happened, and he doesn't have any jutsu, anything going at the moment to be able to revive him. So this actually just kills him, and because of the fact that he wasn't weirdly absorbed into Sasuke, he pretty much has no way of coming back at the moment because Kabuto hadn't absorbed his essence or whatever it is that he did. I don't really know, it was kind of confusing. But none of that has actually happened yet, so that means Orochimaru is pretty much just dead at the moment. So yeah, rip Orochimaru, and this means that Sasuke is pretty much going to try to retreat at this point. He's going to try to get the fuck out of there, but Naruto beats him to the punchline. Holding out his hand towards him, he yells pull as Sasuke gets yoinked towards Naruto. Naruto slams Sasuke down into the ground, placing some seals on him and binding his hands so he can't use hand signs or anything like that, and then places a seal over his eyes so he can't try and use any Sharingan abilities. He easily did this, and now they return back to the village. And as they're returning to the village, we find out that there was an early pain attack, because they don't really have anybody else to be attacking at this point because Naruto is the only tailed beast, and they figured if they could get rid of all of Naruto's allies first, that it would be easier to do this because they also realized just how much stronger Naruto has gotten over this period of time, because Naruto really hasn't tried against anybody yet. Even against Sasuke and Orochimaru, he just kind of shit on them easily using 2 abilities. So yeah, he's a little bit strong here. So Naruto would return to the village with the sealed up Sasuke and find it in utter devastation at the moment. Now, when Naruto arrives, literally everybody is dead. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kakashi, everybody died in the fight. All of the Akatsuki members were actually there. This means that Itachi was there, since Sasuke never went and fought him or anything like that, so he's not dead yet. This also means that Pain would be there, along with Hidan, Kakuzu, literally everybody would be there. And Obito, obviously, Obito's cool like that, of course he's gonna show up to the main big fight. So, with them all showing up to this fight, it would now begin. And let's just say Naruto was holding back a lot in his fight against Sasuke, and now he is going to have to use all of that power that he was, not actually using. Now, immediately, Naruto sees the challenge in this when he sees Nagato having the Rinnegan, along with all of the other paths of pain, realizing immediately what that ability is, because Naruto has that same ability. He has the Rinnegan after all. And this means that Naruto realizes that he has to get rid of that specific, like the healing path of pain first, because he already knows how all of those abilities work. The 6 paths of pain are going to be pretty much nothing to Naruto, so that means that pretty much leaves Obito and Itachi as like actual people who would be able to even touch him, because remember, with Naruto not only being able to use a pretty massive portion of the Ten Tails chakra, like probably a good like half of it, along with being able to use all of the chakra from every other tailed beast because he completely undid the seal on it, this means that everybody else would be absolutely nothing comparatively to him. Itachi's genjutsu wouldn't even work on Naruto because he has a superior dojutsu, so this also would apply to Obito. So the fight would be more like pretty much just taijutsu, because their ninjutsu wouldn't even work on Naruto either. So this means that Itachi with his sickness would be eliminated from this battle quite quickly and quite easily, and this pretty much just leaves Obito as the last remaining obstacle, and this fight is actually going to be like the most intense fight in the series, because it's pretty much going to be the last fight in the series. Because Madara, or like nobody, has actually been revived at this point, and I'm not gonna like continue after Naruto dies and like Black Zetsu tries to continue with this like, you know, rewriting of history to get Kaguya to return. Like, there's no point in covering that, so I'm just not going to. So this fight would basically continue, and it would go on for hours. Obito at this point is reaching his wit's end after using Kamui for this long, and he sees Naruto not even like breathing heavily or anything like that. They have been fighting for so long at this point, and it's just basically neither of them are able to do anything to the other. If Obito manages to land a attack on Naruto, it wouldn't do anything anyway, and Naruto mostly is able to dodge out of the way of those attacks on like any occasion, like pretty much no matter what. And Naruto's attacks wouldn't hit Obito because he has Kamui, meaning that this would be more of a battle of endurance, which Naruto just has a absolute fucking shit ton of. So Naruto, with his just stupid stamina, like remember, all of the tailed beasts befriended, along with being able to use at least half of the Ten Tails' chakra, he absolutely shits on Obito. Obito has this really good stamina, like with all of the fights he was in, along with a really good durability, but he just can't win against this version of Naruto here just because of how stupidly overpowered he actually is. So, eventually Naruto does manage to defeat Obito, and this just leaves pretty much one ending for this series. Naruto, in an attempt to sacrifice himself, uses the basically final, ability of the Rinnegan, which revives everybody that Naruto, or not Naruto killed, but like that were killed basically in this fight, meaning that everybody in the village is actually revived and see Naruto now. Now, Naruto actually doing this has a really high durability, but just for the sake of like the point of the Jinchuriki being that ability being used, Naruto should die here. So he is actually going to. Shortly after using the ability, it completely drains Naruto of all of his chakra, along with most of the tailed beasts from pretty much doing anything here in order to try to help Naruto. So Naruto falls down to the ground as he's, basically like holding his chest in pain, and he can't move, he can't breathe, he can't even do anything. It just felt like everything that Naruto had just drained out of him, and he just died, kind of a thing. So Naruto falls down to the ground and is actually caught by his team. Not Sasuke, he's still bound up and just kind of chilling, but Sakura and Kakashi are there to catch Naruto, and they're basically holding him at this point, and they're looking at him, and they're like, wait, no, he's not actually gonna like die here, is he? And this is where the absolute pretty much worst actually would happen, is that with all of Naruto's chakra, along with most of the tailed beast's chakra being drained, that pretty much just leaves one source. That being the Ten Tails, because Naruto was never drawing on the Ten Tails power when using the, abilities, because he doesn't really ever do it because of how the seal works. Naruto doesn't really want to use it too much because then it would become weaker and stuff like that. So that means that most of the Ten Tails chakra would actually still be there, and this means that it would take over. It takes control over Naruto's body, and this would be bad. This would be real bad for the village. Everybody in the village had pretty much just been revived at this point, and they all die again, immediately. The Ten Tails stomps down, releasing Biju bombs, and absolutely shitting on the entire world at this point. Black Zetsu dies here too. He wouldn't be able to escape just the absolute fucking destruction that this tailed beast creature, whatever you want to call it, actually causes. So that means he would kinda die too. Which means that all of that would pretty much be, gone, and the Ten Tails would kinda just, roam the world, destroying stuff over and over and over again, until eventually people like the Otsutsuki would arrive and either kill it or just kinda, leave the planet because of how disgusting it would be by the time they arrive there because of the Ten Tails. So, that's where we leave this what if off at. Sorry for the bad ending, but if you wanted an alternative, Naruto just survives it and he's fine because Obito survived it and was fine, and then he becomes the Hokage. He pretty easily defeats all of the Otsutsuki when they arrive there because of how just stupid Naruto is at this point. And yeah, that's about where that version of the event would leave off, but just for the sake of that's probably what would happen, I'm gonna stick with the first ending as the official ending of this one. But see you guys in my next video. Peace out.